Ghanaians have spoken.
What's going on?
Mommy, we miss you. Speaker of Parliament.
This is Magical GH. Magical GH. And I will be near my papa. Subscribe next year. Magic.
Leader. Number one.
Leader. Well, I think we all back from the elections. Democracy has won. We are here as the people's representatives to continue with the rest of government business. We expect to do so in an atmosphere of mutual respect, and then see to the outstanding things to be done, including managing the House with Mr. Speaker. So we've had some very positive engagement. We are Democrats, we are politicians, we understand. I'm sure the heated atmosphere you saw prior to the elections will not be seen today. I mean, now, as they will say, Obiemu is put. Well, I would read them on the House floor.
Honorable, the sentiments among everybody is, you said you were not going to the minority side because it's not spiritually good. Now that you are going to the other side, if you are made a minority, that will sit on the other side.
Understand what I say in context. I remain the leader of government business and majority leader till the 6th of January 2025. I said that it was inappropriate for me to go and sit on the minority bench when I was on the minority leader. If on the 7th of January, I am the minority leader, I will sit on the minority bench and keep their feet to the fire. I mean, life continues. Listen, in 1997, NPP came into the parliament of the second parliament with 61 seats. NDC almost had a 2/3. They had over 130 seats. We had just 61. With other small parties joining us, making 67. But the 97 group was very formidable. And in 2000, we managed to overtake them in numbers. In 2004, again, we led the House in the 3rd Parliament. In the 4th Parliament, they took over. In the 5th Parliament, they still control the House. In the 6th Parliament, we had a commanding majority of 169, which was very unprecedented, with over 1 million votes for the presidential candidate Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. In 2020 election, again we had a split parliament, where people say hang parliament, with just a single majority which I lead. Then we had over 500,000 votes for our presidential candidate Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Now come 2024, where they have over 170 seats. C'est la vie. That is life. That is democracy. All right? We congratulate them. The people of Ghana have heard them. They've given them the mandate. Our job in opposition is to do what we're supposed to do. Keep their feet to the fire. So this is not something that has to be celebrated in perpetuity. They would have to be magnanimous in victory as we see the next 4 years. We are very positive that come 2028, Ghanaians will return us into office. We are going to take stock, look at where we got it wrong, correct our mistakes, come together as a team, as a formidable opposition, as a formidable minority, not to be disruptive, no violence, no chaos, but to act within the confines of the law, argue on issues, and distinguish ourselves for the people of Ghana to know that this is MPP. We believe in democracy and we accept the result. Safe to say that some outstanding areas that our friends are doing mischief, acting in bad faith, we call on them to appreciate what it entails to engage in this process and allow the EC to do its work. We have 9 more seats that are yet to be declared, And we are very optimistic that if collation is done peacefully in a serene environment, those seats are ours. We have collated our results and we know we have won them.
Honorable.
And please, let me finish. And we know that what our flag bearer did is what has given this country the peace it needs. For the first time in the history of Ghana's democracy, Dr. Bawumia conceded through internal collation, even before Electoral Commission came out publicly to declare. This has never happened in our history. Thank you very much indeed.
What's your Honorable, you're welcome. I'm with my younger brother.
Congratulations on your win.
Younger brother. Thank you. I think that we owe the Ghanaian people a debt of gratitude for standing strong and firm, Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and having faith and confidence in his return to the presidency. It's my trust and prayer that he will not disappoint the Ghanaian people. At least he would avoid the arrogance of the new patriotic class. So be sure that President Mahama will run a government with ministers who will be humble, who will uphold humility as a hallmark and requirement of the president. President Mahama will also avoid abuse of the office with impunity. So the emergence of John Dramani Mahama marks an end to impunity. I won't listen to anybody. I'll do as I please. Nanado, you walk away as you please. So the Ghanaian people telling you. And I've seen many of you question whether President Mahama can run a lean government or not. It's a pledge he made to the Ghanaian people that he will protect the public purse. A true meaning of the public purse would be to downsize government. He intends to run a government with 60 ministers. That's very, very doable. I foresee him run a government with 23 ministries, so 23 ministers, some 19 cabinet ministers and their deputies, and some 16 regional ministers. Gives you some mathematics of 54 to 58 ministries.
So the regional ministers are not going to have their deputies?
Even current NPP, regional ministers have no deputies. What I'm aware is that President Mahama will run a government of 60 ministers. That he will honor as his word to the Ghanaian people. And for him, it is protecting the public purse and preserving public resources, which otherwise would have gone into salaries, facilities, and privileges of ministers. He's saving that money in the name of the Republic and in the name of fiscal prudence. Any other question?
How do you balance that with the high levels of representation, especially amongst the party folk who are looking at being employed or having their share of the victory that you got right now?
Public expectations are very high, but as I scan through the issues, what the Ghanaian people require of President Mahama is to exact accountability for the people and in the name of the people. That any person capable of abuse of public resources and public funds be held accountable to that in accordance with law. That he would do. He would exact accountability for and on behalf of the Ghanaian.
Does the outcome of this election settle the controversy that stalled the sitting of Parliament prior to the elections?
You know, you can have the Supreme Court majority and you can have the electorate majority. We had a majority of the electorate. The electorate have decided. You can have a Supreme Court also rule in order that we uphold the tenets and principles of the rule of law. We will respect the Supreme Court, but we certainly disagree with them.
Honorable,
in their thinking and in their judgment.
Honorable, the business of the House for today, the first is just a lot of things expected to discuss. Are you confident all seem?
This is a lame duck president and a lame duck parliament. The life of this parliament is almost over. I think we should focus on the ninth parliament. For me, the most important item that if parliament should be considering is expenditure in lieu of appropriation, nothing more. We should preoccupy ourselves in accordance with Article 179 of the Public Financial Management Act. What is it that we can keep government running and the wheels of administration running until such time that President Mahama can introduce his own policies and programs that reflects his majestic.
And then the Amadia to Muslim Papatana.
Oh, now say Ghana fire my verdict, I am my judgment. That's all Mama you sit Bebrea. I don't think I use should be near wherever. The first judges, you know, Ghanaians, you know, my judge. I mean, say J.M. Bako, City Baby, my NDC.
I am about to number we did say we have majority. And they about to use us one thing and then the Amadia to and our friends so you vote no more about any woman in a minority for one.
Oh, now say a collabie who say Yanto Bofro to Mra. Na se bofro to him we fe de we say ye de aba e wo bag ni mu aye be yi ama nti esu ni de u be ja isu ansa ko pepe se be yi bofro to me ti ye ja isu say obi jaji yo say there yo Ghanaians aye omo final verdict omo say NDC back o city bebre
my finally manya clear majority na microphone so kan manya majority e bia na Ghana for kan sem kan na mankuti o.
Oh, yeah, baby, in fact, you're very humble, very, very humble so far. Obia bury me ego. Na obia or the ego be shasi and ye be true guneso. Achina you to say ayi, abono to say yi, yam tolerate obia say. Ghana for GD and when ya we mui. So obi eba be ye a
But why else cameras on us?
Do
we have it here? Yes. Because
what do you say?
Alasan,
a few days
that
ago,
the outgoing interior minister. He's my brother.
Let's hear him. Let's hear him.
First of all, I continue to say a big thank you to God. I say so because we've seen other countries go through elections and the end is not good. We did say that Mr. President was clear in his mind that he came into office through a legitimate means, and so shall he do when he succeeds. Indeed, the President has kept his word. As for persons being transferred from their positions, I am an interior minister. I drive policy. I don't do operations. So you have to take up with the relevant authorities who do the transfer. I don't transfer them. Thank you very much.
Well, so that's Henry Cote, an interior minister. He says he doesn't transfer.
Well, but you don't expect Henry Cote to stand in front of the cameras and say, hey, that. But you know, I mean, we are all politicians. He was the brain behind everything, you know. But by the grace of God, we were able to identify some of them and stop them from entering the constituency.
No. Right, so, Honorable, we see that in the 9th Parliament, a lot of your colleagues will not be coming back. You will not be in the House as well. I don't know what you make of all this, considering the experienced people who are no longer coming back.
Well, first of all, we thank God for how far He has brought Ghana. We also thank Ghanaians and all the actors, the stakeholders, in ensuring that indeed democracy continues to deepen and, for that matter, thrive in this country. Yes, of course, we are coming to Parliament with the NDCs having almost about 2/3 majority. And it's not everybody that is new, but again, the professor was once in +1 before he or she became a professor. So yes, there are quite some new ones who are coming to Parliament on the side of now you can say minority, but I believe that those of us who are out or outgoing will be there to lend a helping hand to them. And don't forget, we used to have the famous 67 many years ago when the president then was an MP. So it's about a very good parliamentary group, not necessarily making in the plenary, their voices may not be heard, but it's about putting government on its toes to make sure that indeed they go by what they have said, the promises that they've made, and all the policies that they are likely to, for that matter, introduce. So it's not an all dead end of the road, but rather I think this is a fine opportunity for our MPs to try and do their best in Parliament. Yeah.
Now, how shocking do you find the numbers, what the NDC got, what NPP got?
Oh, I don't think that we will have to do some politics with it. They have won and it's decisive, that's it. I mean, you go to an elections, it's like going to state lotto, you win or you lose. In every circumstances, you have to thank God that you've won or you've lost. But it's a matter of going back to do your reorganization, do your reforms, and then come back stronger.
Thank you, sir.
So, that question is too premature if you ask me. Yes.
Has the party done some retrospection?
Well, I'm sure you know today's date. How do we start retrospection today?
There's so much to talk about.
Oh, honorable.
Hey!
What's going on?
Mommy, we miss you. We miss you so much.
We shall talk longer later.
Oh, mommy.
Come and do government business. Just to do government business.
So what do you say? I mean,
Ghanaians have spoken. We should listen to them.
is there any more you're expecting from one of the sitting today going forward?
I'm not in charge of the agenda. Those who are the business managers will agree on the agenda, and those of us who are members of Parliament would do accordingly.
Are you expecting all your colleagues to be present for this next week?
It's my expectation that parliamentarians will do their work. Maybe there might be a colleague here who is on the parliamentary business outside the chamber. But I'm expecting all parliamentarians to do their work.
Is there any more you're expecting from one of the sitting today?
I'm not in charge of the agenda. Those who are the business managers will agree on the agenda, and those of us who are members of Parliament do accordingly.
Are you expecting all your colleagues to be present for this next week?
It's my expectation that parliamentarians will do their work. Maybe there might be a colleague here who is on the parliamentary business outside the chamber. But I'm expecting all parliamentarians to do their work.
Sir.
That's a bit more. I'm on Afro. I'm about better Afro. Right. Yeah.
What's going on?
Mommy, we miss you. We miss you so much.
We shall talk longer later.
Oh, mommy.
Most of the time, people have been tagging you with the Ayawaso West video.
Well, like I've said, I'm a child of God, and as a Christian, the Bible says, "Vengeance is the Lord; He will repay." And so it's up to God to exact vengeance. I'm a son of God, and as sons of God, we inherit our fathers. So vengeance belongs to the Lord. My leader, sir. I think so. One of the key things that Ghana for the next NDC is the recovery of loots and prosecution of Nkrofo women we are buying. I think so. I think that this election wasn't just about a vote on Bawumia per se. It was a vote on Akufo-Addo ni Bawumia ni na wamamambo katashishe proye kind dream a ekoso wo aban ni mo. Enti Ghana for Beshe say NDC aban John Mama aban na ebe mo no will not come and continue business as usual. Oh, omo ye na for ma omo debi. Ghana for eyi womani ana yesi inteso kokko e de akire aban no say kono na ekoso wa aban no no enye omo de enti esese yen so as aban a womo di tumi na mayen no e be make sure say womo ade a eda Ghana for akoma so the recovery of loot, prosecution of people who have deprived the people of development ese ekoso na ade ba ko a ehia e wo aban no mo eya ahombrase obi biara mahama be paw no a obe ma no akwanya e wo aban no no ese yesua ahombrase ese ase wo hwe John Mahama ankasa no o ahombrase wo nipa ho tima enti ye paw se wo ye minister wo ye CEO wo akwanya wo aban no mu a ese wo bre ho ase enya nipa Ghana fo ho tima ese anse Ghana fo nte na wonya asa to me no enti ade ba kwa ese yensua na yentie Ghana for no and I believe is adibakwa edamakuma so for aban no say aban no me kwanya say metu omampanyin John Mahama for make say ye Ministry of Information and Public Engagement ministry and just for information but ministry any omanfo no benya ngita hundie at least on a weekly and monthly basis because for year ekoso aban no it took 8 years. 8 years. I feel watching and as I catashare any kind of cost. To me, it's some people in one month. And you need to carry the people along. At Mawamo say, Busumi way, Nyaya, the steps we've taken, timelines are a better taking na the behu, Nyama, like when you implement a policy. It will take time for you to see the effect. Yeah. But in between the time, I say, policy way over the next 6 months, you expect to say. And in between the 6 months, you need to carry the country along. And the economic reform say, carry the country along. Because I think the extent of the damage to the economy, you need to address the country. I say this is the level of we are. When you put in a new policy, renegotiation with the IMF, what does it mean for the young people of Ghana? I say, Ejuma 4, what does it mean for them? Forex, the situation at the Bank of Ghana, you need to do sector by sector. Ghana for NTS here. When you do that, you can carry the people along. My number here, does it put any task on you, burden on you, so what some of people will deliver? Definitely. I mean, the Ghana for to be mouse overwhelming super majority NDC MPs to microcredit finance there. Here say again, ahombrase. Here say ebe prayer ho ase. Na ya jiri ho eye adwuma ebe so Ghana for any. The majority in Parliament is for us to see. Listen to the desires of the Ghanaian people. Nyama 1% yensisa no na yensisa ma ho. Nyama 1% yenge Ghana for did was say woman pay 8-11. They say you free. In the first budget, they say you free. Almost woman pay bet tax. I say you free. Almost woman pay corporate levy. I say you free because anything our mama here to me. Look, the Ghanaian people don't joke with them. Omuma MPP, a very solid majority of 169. Omuma say MPP for a fine year to my year. Then the next one my split parliament 137 say yen say na no super call see our mama my overwhelming majority 188 unje na mo fanye adwuma no mai I say enti o this is 4 seats ono ankasa onyanji ntumu ye mo waka mo position ye clear say legally it was wrong say ombetimi akasa ye yi parliamentary that constituency apart declare with different constituency opposition no
put that supreme because some will definitely go against your members of parliament that have been elected.
There's no member of parliament on the NDC side who's been elected. You declare another constituency. None. I mean,
some says under duress.
No, in a can't say under duress. Nobody has stated. I mean, I was physically present at the declaration of Okaikwe Central. Right, Mr. Digino, our returning officer. He didn't in the court tables. Now, why is because it was getting dark. You saw your lights, man. So I went to my head, he stood there and declared his results. Offering honor, he went and sat there and did the declaration rates. Said, Obi under duress. You watch the videos. Obi did what share I mean, Tejiman South card, 1 year declaration, 4 years, Abra soldiers a thing before. And Crabo easy to do. The year demonstration that Harun I do to echo is easy say your problem I am cocoa. Oh, Ablekuma North, a Rabina Obi. Yes, I see on Monday. Yambi electoral officer and returning officer Mr. Okon Okofi Eko die. Tuesday, or some for on one Kasanika. As I'm by Ebetwa, Edimano so to declare Rabina Obi. Obia or under duress, or to me coffee. Ekoda, a sign the Chibra, say obey a declaration. The EC, some of the any woman or more EC, our person, but woman share MPP at our MPP to Mano. So be what problem. Money clear on court. EC need to annul a declaration of a returning officer. Thank you very much. Who are constituencies now? We are part of Smart. A Greater Accra election where I worked in 30 constituencies across beyond Greater Accra. I worked in the Bunu East, Bunu region. I worked in Western. I worked in Central. I worked in the Eastern. Your
party did not intimidate or put anybody under duress.
Menua Bema. So Obi Bo Wasuma. Unia we never say Yabo Wasuma. You know, because say Yabo Wasuma. Adena Samuel Teteni Jimenez and Boss Mansari, one will know Panado, Ma Obia or Siniti. The people who did the declaration are not saying they are under duress. So why is Samuel Tete saying that they were under duress? And then the rest of your job will be Mumas.
Honorable,
I think you have your head to all right. Yeah, when I'm going here, I will see you when you are done.
Give us something small. Yeah, when we need this time.
Jobuzia and NDC for more Pinacotina minority. The NDC for much of white. Minority worship. And now our Babin Speaker of Parliament. I shall to say maybe Parliament no more the Kagan and Watson. If you are NDC parliamentarians in a more into the left side of the Speaker, which is the minority seat. So far MPs in the Ghana, it's like you see me just like we do more cancer proceedings. Speaker of the drama started. So they all have the drama or much graduate.
Okay, so what are you looking at? We know the issues that happened before Parliament went away for the campaign and all. Who is sitting there way today?
I'm sure we'll get an indication of that. All of those are matters that we've said over and over again, which are in the hands of Mr. Speaker. And we expect that today, as tempers are lower, he will give clarity on those. We always said that we had outstanding business that needed to be completed. We are hopeful that today he would ensure that outstanding business is put on the table so that we can do it on behalf of the people of Ghana.
I know you are yet to see the other paper for today, but do you already have certain issues you are looking at addressing today in the House?
You recall that when the initial recall was triggered, we listed a number of things that we wanted to handle. Those are the issues that we're expecting to see on the other paper today.
Can you just give us a...
It will be the same issues on the other paper.
Right, okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We're hoping everybody.
Charlie, you should have more.
There was no caucus meeting
a vote of no confidence in Nanado, but not necessarily Baumia factor now. That is an argument.
Well, argument because we are not, but I don't buy that argument at all. Say, and you see, you see success many friends who call I can see now we think anymore. Suddenly, we are down. You know, in all aspects of life, even take your football, you are appointed to coach, and if there's a tournament now, who lead now we people will shower praises on you. You are the best coach. Now you started, you know, now you're excellent. You know, we say all kinds of praises on you. You same person. So nyame anya wadum so na ulu so ya wo be hu say you 30
know who is coming and who is not coming. But Parliament is resuming today, and so I've come. I expect that every member of Parliament will attend.
There are concerns that people like yourself who lost your seats are not really interested in what happened in the remainder of the 8th Parliament. Do you get
my presence here certainly throws into the data session. I lost the election for the 9th Parliament. I'm still a member of 8th Parliament, representing the good people of 2nd D, and I'm here to do my job.
All right, finally, the Fresh Teachers Bill is up for discussion today. A lot of bills, the Social Protection Bill, the Financial Stability Fund.
Why do you say it's up for discussion today? It's business that has been tabled for this side of the term of Parliament. And so we'll start work, we'll do the ones that we can't today, we'll continue tomorrow, until Parliament goes on recess finally, I believe on the midnight of the 6th of January 2025.
So you expect that you are confident it will be passed?
Business committee will meet, leadership will confer. I'm a regular member of Parliament, so I'm coming to set whatever business is tabled for us to deliberate on. I will participate and make sure that we get to do what we have to do for the people of Ghana. Good.
All right, are you back to Parliament? Will you contest again next year?
Hey, but why are cameras on us?
Do we have it here? Yes. Because
because maybe repeating English, all English guys must say we finish when we do three. And one has started. English.
Right, thank you very much, Honorable, and you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Good morning to you all.
So
the fourth estate of the realm.
Right, so this is the first meeting after the back and forth in Parliament before the election. How do you feel about this call?
I think this is a very important call. We have some serious business to do, and this goes in favor of the incoming administration. We have the Amendments Committee bill to pass. That's the Article 71 of this. We also have the vote to account budget for the first quarter of next year. These are all things going in favor of the income administration. I hope that common sense will prevail and the Speaker will take charge today with speaking and with setting our respective positions and do justice to these things for the sake of Mother Ghana.
Now, we know that the back and forth was as a result of who was to occupy which side of the House. Now, we know how the 9th Parliament is going to be like, but for today's sitting, what are your expectations, especially from the current minority side, in terms of who sits where?
Well, as I think common sense will prevail, the Speaker will sit at the NPP majority side in the 8th Parliament will sit to his right. Because we have some pressing issues I've mentioned. We have two issues that the President-elect and his NDC members of Parliament who are looking for us to do justice to. That's the Article 71, where there's the Amendments Committee bill that's coming before us. And two, the vote to account budget for the first quarter of 2023. These are all things that will inure to the benefit of the NDC majority, incoming majority caucus coming in on the 7th of January. So I don't think the Supreme Court has ruled, and we are lawmakers, we are bound by the ruling of the Supreme Court. So we come in today and just get on to the actual business of the House and make sure that we do it for the sake of Mother Ghana and for the sake of our Parliament.
Right. Now, prior to the election, there were a number of issues that you personally raised. You were seen as not in support of certain things, even from your own side. Now, with the aftermath of the elections, what have happened? Do you feel vindicated?
Well, I'm here to serve Ghana. I'm not here to serve a political party. Do I belong to a political party? Yes. But once I swear an oath of office as a member of Parliament, my duty or my fidelity is to the politician, not to the NPP. And I've made that point on several platforms that those who have difficulty in accepting my position, that's fine. My position, according to the oath that I read, the verbs in the oath, adjectives in the oath that I read, it's simple to uphold the Constitution. My fidelity is to the Constitution of Ghana. It's not to a political party. Once you enter this chamber, you are looking at Ghana. But without Ghana, there will be no MPP, there will be no NDC. That's what you forget to bear in mind. I come here to do what is right for the people of Ghana. I've served over 5 decades of my life in this country. Some out of the country. But I believe that we've seen the worst, and we don't want the worst to happen. What brought the champions coup d'etat? To do with inflation. What brought Rollins' coup d'etat? Because of hoarding. You've seen all these things. I'm not going to allow anybody to sit somewhere and dictate to me what I should do or what I think is best for this country. We've made a decision. We are going to stand by it. If what I was telling the government middle of 2022, we did fail to listen. It was my own doing. You've seen the results. If what I was trying to tell the president, I've been vindicated by happenings, and more so the polls as conducted on the 7th of December 2024, Ghanaians are the better judges. And I kept saying that posterity will be on my side because I knew what I was talking about. So posterity has proved me right. It's up to the rest to accept the fact that we were not being fair to the issues. We were not being fair to the issues. You cannot win an election in this country without the economy. The economy. It's as simple as that. If you want to win the election in this country, you need to make sure that the economy is on a sound footing. We fail to do that, and we punished because of that. So that is that.
Honorable, just briefly on expectations today, the sentiments shared across that a number of your colleagues might not make it to the floor of the House today after the
Why are we speculating?
What's the general sentiment from within your caucus?
There's no sentiment. The sentiment is that we've been recalled by party. That's the job that we were elected to do. So everybody must show their face here. It's as simple as that.
And everybody will be here to
I suspect so. That's the job we're elected to do. The Speaker has summoned Parliament. We have important business of state to handle and to deal with. So we must all show our faces. So I'm sure our colleagues will be here in their number. I'm not so sure about my NDC colleagues because they are still in the jubilation mode. So they are probably still jubilating. But all in all, I think members will show. You see them trickling in, they'll come. I must say the truth, so I must say the Ghana. And no more Benaka as a by way and some at the time of 6th of January 2025. And no more said my booby show. President Mahama Obey, the free big go to account budget, the first 3 months, first quarter of next year. Budget, let's say a man, it's a parliament in a man. We are tossing a monuments committee at the 71 holders. As on the banner, so everyone wants and other bills in agreements that they say when they can was it. Obi a think as will be rather much of punishing. Yeah, we are punishing and only a punishment. Yeah. You know, I don't think that is of interest. They are 12 and we say Obi on the level. And this is what we say they have 2/3 of parliament next year. It's in their interest to come and support government for us to quickly wrap up and leave the stage for them. So why are you saying now? We say we don't be true. And like I say, that's why you're quite crack. When you don't see Shelley.
Dear Nama, why do you strong confused party? Officer, party,
my orientation is different. Some check be paying on them, maybe to tell me. But me, who grab me say boozy inflation. Like chap would be Rollins by my say a hold no man. Control, is that running a war. To be a poor economy. But no one we are popular. Apart from that, what they say, it's here. Who no way na. Na ye can economy ye can. Ebi say. That about to mwaba. Eyi na ehu de na ye can no. Say ehu de na enim. Obi ehu. Na problem I want to say. Me swear be out of office no, as a member of parliament. There were verbs and adjectives in the oath. Also, you protect, preserve, defend, and uphold the Constitution. So my fidelity is to the Constitution as a Ghanaian citizen. It's not to a political party. Party member of parliament, yes. I know there's a party here. I mean to me when it's a day where one ever one. Yeah, in Chima. Yeah, in Chima. Say no, but Sana didn't cool in one car. Now you didn't know where Hannah would get you. Maybe I said, a buy, we were waiting. Yes, sir, we feel say, and now we are getting a baby swagger to say, maybe a young and a creepy. But I say, some of us, we don't need government to survive, really. I love this country at 21. I'm a parliamentary minister. I'm a baby. What I say? Yes, you can survive with that government. Yes, it's always trying to man as a Ghana for the ratio. Who say, but trying to Ghana, you man have no NPP MPs. That's what.
Substancy, PC appeal for it to keep a concern now. Currently,
PC appeal for grass, always inside. On the other, indeed.
But are you facing any challenges?
I'm not facing any challenge. The brain himself me right. The brain, I'm not me yard. Name Kakre Bedi and Jumutinka, Umunyaname yard. Yeah, of course, we had a crisis. That crisis demanded the resignation of Ken Ofori-Atta. We failed to back it up. And it has brought us where we are today. Oh, there is a woman person about and I made it to me 9 years after the team said, oh, my home, you man. I said, the woman see him. Saying now, so, like I said, there be Yana Yakwa campaign the partner of power. It's Yana, yes, see, Timmy President Kasa say, baby, a dream. Ministers negotiate of sound. And when you're born and your time. But yeah, we say yes, I before election. And then some Ghana for year freedom. Ghana for Payarve, Ghana for Pejuma. What I say before I want to Toba and they come on the Tobetia to Mahama 2016. You be on that Tobetia. What I say? Yes, and I always what Mahama votes are 2016. And when you be back home, you ain't for Nako Toba. And we had him. Mama boots in Yahoo, 150,000 per car. Yet over 2 million on Twaba. It is a way analysis we now talk. Now we say, me, ya watch it, you know, make catch on, then you know, great. Then the SC, you would also catch on. The economy will always determine elections everywhere of the world. Every part of the world, the economy will determine the election. Everywhere. You get the economy wrong, you're on the way out. It's as simple as that.
You know, when you want to.
You know, there's something out to Ghana. In TV, Yakasa, giving Yakasa, the second year. What I say, but Accra, you know, mobile say.
Microphone.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a short conversation with you.
What about?
Well, about today's sit-ins and aftermath of elections and everything. Right, so we just want to know what your expectations today are in the House. I mean, after the back and forth and elections and all.
This is the 8th Parliament.
Yes.
The 8th Parliament is having a regular meeting. It is regular that after elections, it will resume a short period. Outstanding matters are discussed. There's nothing special, nothing untoward. The 8th Parliament will continue as it started.
Before breaking for campaign and elections, the issue was who to sit where because of Speaker's announcement of the 4 seats that were vacant. Today, where is minority going to sit? Where is majority going to sit? Where will the NPP side be?
What brought about? Is that matter still pending? Has the Supreme Court not ruled it out? So there's no question. And sometimes, frankly, you in the media generate needless controversy. If somebody else is insisting that we should, those other MPs are no longer members of Parliament, let that person be bold and say it. After the Supreme Court ruling, we should not encourage these things. Whatever or whoever came to that conclusion, the Supreme Court says you're wrong. So, Honorable Esiama is a member of Parliament, Cynthia is a member of Parliament, all the 4 of them. So wherein lies is where will you sit? We will sit where we have sat from 2021 today.
Are you expecting a full house today?
Well, what else can you expect? Some people are demoralized, so you don't expect everybody to be able to be here. So it's normal. From my experience in the last 4 parliaments, the last few days we hardly get a full member. So I'll not be surprised if we don't get a full member.
Honorable, the free SHS bill is expected to be discussed in Parliament today. Are you confident it will be passed? That and other bills?
Are you aware of that? I'm not aware.
Thank you. This is democratic victory for you all coming in now as the minority, but will be going into the majority. How does it feel? How does everything feel?
We feel good, and let me say that the issue of who is majority and who is minority has been determined by the people of Ghana. It is not up to us to fight over it in Parliament. Now it is obvious that the NPP majority has now been reduced to Nkokwan-Ketenkete. So that's what it is. And we'll go ahead and do the business of the day, business of the people, and ensure that the right is done.
So is that why your members have gone to their original seats?
Yeah, I think it's pointless. It's pointless at this point to fight over who is majority and who is minority. The people of Ghana have determined who is indeed the majority and who is the minority. Not just with small numbers, but emphatic. The NDC members of Parliament constitute the majority for the 9th Parliament. So I don't think it's time for us to fight over one seat from now till Parliament is dissolved on the 5th or on the 6th of January. Let's make sure we do the right thing for the people.
Leader, finally, what kind of key business will you be supporting the government to deal with? Have you had any agreement so far?
So I want to make something very clear. We will not support anything that will commit the next government. This is a transition. We should allow the next government to make the determination. But anything that will seek to benefit all of us, and all of us agree to support that, like bills, lawmaking. But those loan agreements and the likes of, leases and all, must wait for the next government to make that determination. There's a precedent to that. The Honorable Chairman Sabonsu did just that in 2016 with the NPP minority there. There's no difference. We're going to do just that. And let's see what will happen from today.
Leader, are you gunning for the finance minister role? Are you gunning for the finance minister role?
I'm not gunning for anything.
Leader, including a lithium agreement. Are you saying that the lithium agreement, which is before your house, you call it be frozen?
It's not about. I think I've made my point. My point is that anything that is going to commit the next administration,
you have said enough. Let's go
should
inside.
Allow.
Congratulations. You've said enough. Let's go inside.
Thank you very much.
Let's go inside. You've said enough. Let's go.
So
You've won.
My key point is we have expenditure in advance of appropriations. We need to do that and others. So let's go in and see what we do for today.
Thank you. You said enough.
Hey, okay. Good one. Thank you.